NHL Nightly with your host, the sports, a.k.a. Peter the Bowski, a.k.a. Jeremiah Maxwell. And with him, as always, maybe Pearlo, Wisdom, and Rico and Barry. Hey, everybody, welcome to an Occupancy Monday on this fine 18th of March, 2024. I am the sports spirit, Jeremiah Maxwell. With me, as always, Pearlo, Wisdom, and Rico and Barry. We'll see. But we got Occupancy for an Occupancy Monday. How's it going, Occupancy? I hope you're doing well.
It's good. Happy Monday, Beard, and everyone signing in today. Appreciate it.
I love you repping the Ice Guys shirt. Thoughts and prayers and speedy recovery to Alex B. Smith's mom. I know she just got out of the hospital. I saw he posted about that a few minutes ago. So anyway, just want to wish him well and hope all is well with everybody. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I surely did. And we got Rico in the chat. Rico, what's up, buddy? How's it going?
Hey, man.
Just watching Ovi on hat trick watch. 2 goals tonight against the Flames. The Capitals are making their bid because every fucking reporter on the planet has left them for dead, except for Paul Nasty Bissonnette, who called them making the playoffs and has never come off of it. Big fan of that one. Nothing against the Flames. You guys know I love the Flames. Oh, hey, well, let's take Rico off the screen here real quick.
You know, the East is such an interesting playoff push right now because you had Buffalo get hot, then they lost their heat. You had Detroit, who we thought were turning it around, but then they just had a big loss. So the East is up for grabs, you know?
Yeah, I think with Detroit is 3-9 with Dylan Larkin out of the lineup. It's imperative they get him back. I say this every show now. They are sliding badly. I was a little disappointed Buffalo didn't beat them for their third meeting. Buffalo's not completely out of it. We're going to spend some time talking about the playoffs. We got our man, the myth, the legend, Pearlo Wisdom in. Hey, Pearlo, how's it going? Did you have a great weekend? And we missed you on Thursday. Hope all is well.
Yeah, everything's all back in order again. But, I had a really good weekend. It's warm as heck here in
all right.
Yeah, so it's been nice. Doing a lot of walking. And I see Rico's in too. Rico's here.
Yeah, we got Rico back. There we go, Rico. I didn't want you had some stuff going on, it seemed like, so I didn't want that.
Yeah. We just basically washed all the bedding and stuff. The wife needed me to give her a hand putting it on before she went to bed.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And we always appreciate you. Rico is coming from the Eastern time zone, man. So we always appreciate him coming in and checking us out here. We've got 2 games tonight, man. Calgary has just scored to make it 3-1, but Ovi's got a pair, both on the power play for Ovi, by the way. So that's his 21st. He is now 53 goals away from tying Gretzky. Pretty awesome. I don't know. Maybe Carberry's going to challenge. Something's going on here. I don't know what's happening.
It didn't look offside to me. I don't know what's going on there. They should.
Is that what they're calling?
Also,
well, if it doesn't look offsides, number 18, I'm sorry, I do not know who that is for the Flames. He was very close to being offsides. Again, get rid of that shit.
Oh.
I mean, just get rid of it. You know what, NHL? You're at the GM meetings. You're talking about more replays. Nah, the Caps are taking a timeout here, which I appreciate because they think it could be a wave off. I think this is going to be a good goal. It is what it is. Hey, Daniel Barry, nice to have you. And 360 STS, good to see you, my man. Hope everything is okay. All right, yeah. Well, we're probably getting a review here. Anyway, ridiculousness of the NHL that it's become because this much offside means anything. And hey, I'm a Caps fan. I have every reason to not want this goal count, but
So what's the next review going to be? The icing? You know how there's that gray area?
Oh, delay a game. Delay a game. They're definitely going to review delay a game. I think delay a game is going to be a reviewable thing, which honestly, I almost wish they would get rid of it. Because how often have you noticed a player do it on purpose? I just don't think it's done on purpose like it was.
Yeah, but if you got rid of it, it would be done on purpose.
That's probably true.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, you just give them a misconduct. You're out if you did it on purpose. But then you don't have to go on the power play. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
So if you got rid of it, Pearlo, hear me out on this. If you got rid of the penalty, the delay of game penalty, which we all know is 9 times out of 10, it's not done on purpose. It's always accidental. If the ref determined the player did it on purpose, he could just give him a misconduct. He's out the game. So you take away the want to do it, and if they do it, or the ref determines they did it on purpose, but then it's not you still don't get a power play out of it or anything. So
yeah, I think that's going to be too tough to be able to figure out if somebody does it on purpose or not.
You don't think the refs on the ice have a pretty good feel for what's going on? I mean, here's my other idea. Get rid of the linesmen on the ice except for the puck drop. They rotate off. One goes to one line, one goes to the other. Behind the glass, there's a door that lets them in behind the glass, almost like they're an official, but they'll be off ice. The other ref goes up to a review to help the ref with the review. That goal is going to count. So I don't know if the Capitals challenged that. They called a timeout.
They did. They challenged it.
Okay.
But they challenged it, but they didn't challenge for the offside. They challenged goaltender interference, and I don't know why they did because. I'm sorry, I'm stuck with the NHL Network's broadcast and that would be Sportsnet. I'm pretty sure the good people at Monumental Sports would have actually shown the goalie. Didn't see any of that from Sportsnet. They must have thought they were reviewing it for offsides the whole time. So I think Carberry saw something else. He looks actually pretty agitated about it. Yeah, I don't know why he thought there was goaltender interference, if that's what he thought.
I again can't speak on it because I didn't see the replay. Okay.
Carberry looks a little like Juice from Sons of Anarchy.
Oh.
You ever watch that show?
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. I can't think of the name of the actor. I feel bad for not knowing.
Yeah, the guy with the tattoos on his head.
The guy with the skull.
No, I know who it is. I just can't think of the name of the actor. I know it's
He had like the lightning tattoo on his head or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit of playoffs. Matchups. We're getting down to the wire. Going to be, obviously the Capitals with this will be in sole possession of the last wild card in the East, with games on hand over the teams that are in front of them. Right now, they would pass Detroit with 74 points, and they'd still have a game in hand on Detroit, who's already played 68 games. The Red Wings have been in a slide since they're showing it now, and it does look okay. That was not that. I'm sorry. It was a different play. I think Theo Rossi is the name of the actor that plays Juice from Sons of Anarchy, by the way. Shout out Theo Rossi if he's a hockey fan. Anyway, one of the big guys on that show on Sons of Anarchy
Kidnapped Kate Middleton.
No, Kim Coates. Kim Coates, who plays Tig, is I think from Winnipeg.
Wow.
I think you're right.
Yeah, Kim Coates. So and good actor, man. That guy's been in a ton of stuff. He always has to play a bad guy, but I actually liked it. Sons of Anarchy.
Tig Traeger, I think that's the guy. He's Canadian. That's Lou Pearlman's right-hand man in Sons of Anarchy.
The name of the actor that plays that character.
Yeah, Tig Traeger was his name on Sons of Anarchy. That's the guy with the brown curly hair. That was Al Bundy's wife there.
Well, you had
her husband on the show.
Ron Perlman played her husband. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Ron Perlman's right-hand man, his trigger man, his name was Tig Traeger or something like that.
Yeah, Tig. I just looked it up on IMDb.
Yeah, he's Canadian.
Tig. Yes, Kim Coates.
Kim Coates. Yeah. I thought he was from
Alexander,
Montreal.
he played Alexander Kim Tig Traeger.
I thought he was from Montreal.
I thought he was born in Winnipeg.
Huh.
It doesn't say in his IMDb. Anyway, he lives in Los Angeles, so doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
Nice.
most actors. They live in Atlanta, New York, or Los Angeles. Okay. So the East, I think, is shaped up to 7 teams. So it's the 8th spot, and I think the West is all but locked up. I think the only thing that changes is LA falls out of the 3rd spot, and the Vegas Golden Knights move up. They're currently tied. They have the same points. I trust Vegas more, but I don't know what to think of them as of late. The Kings have a better goal differential, but the Kings can't win at home. They're home, but they're amazing on the road. As good as the Kings are on the road is as good as the Golden Knights are at home. Also, I've been saying this for a while, and I really want your guys' opinion on this, and I'll shut up and listen to you guys. Shout out Jason Gregor. I got these numbers from him, but this is straight up. He talked about matchups, and if the West shapes out, let's just say the West stays the way it is right now. Winnipeg is the 1. They would end up playing Nashville, and Vancouver would play the Vegas Golden Knights, which I don't know if you're Vancouver, you want to do it. You're probably hoping that you play the Kings. But Winnipeg is 2-0 versus Colorado this year, and they've outscored them 10-4. Colorado's 3-0 versus Dallas, and they've outscored them 16-8. Dallas is 3-0 versus Winnipeg, and they've outscored them 9-3. Anyway, I got those numbers from Jason Gregor on Daily Faceoff Rundown with Saravelli, and I wrote them down because I thought that was incredible that those Winnipeg owns Colorado, and Colorado owns Dallas, and Dallas owns Winnipeg. So, all right. Anyway, give us your thoughts, guys, on who makes it in and what do you think?
Well, the intriguing one to me is that Vegas LA. Vegas hasn't given me any thought like they want to move up higher in the rankings or anything because I don't know if
their last
Vegas
game
would rather play.
That was an important game. But yes, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but I mean they outplayed New Jersey in that last game, but they still haven't come out with a dominant performances as far as on the score sheet. I don't know if you're an Edmonton Oilers fan, you're probably happy playing the Kings instead of the Vegas in the first round. But Nashville did play Winnipeg pretty tight in the last game they played against them, and Hellebuck's still been unproven in the playoffs, I think, to bring that team deep. He got outplayed by his backup last year. Colorado-Dallas would be a pretty wild series. Vegas, Vancouver. There's a couple teams that aren't going to be happy in the West, like no matter what happens. There's going to be a couple good teams going out in the first round, but as far as the East goes, I'm a Wings fan through and through, but I just don't think it's their year. So maybe slide aside and let somebody else like a Washington or an Islanders or maybe a sneaky Buffalo, if they get a win tonight, they'll be back in the picture a little bit more. Just a more exciting team to watch, I think, right now. But I mean, Carolina, Philly, that could be an upset alert. Maybe the Flyers taking the Carolina to Game 7, but Carolina's been playing so good since Gensel and Kuznetsov's back as well too. Rangers and the Lightning, that'd be a pretty wild series too.
Buffalo just scored, by the way, to go up 2-1. Apologize on the Seattle
Holy
crash.
shit.
Yeah.
Florida, Toronto's a nightmare scenario, but Toronto's stuck somewhere where they can't go up and they can't go down. Really, there's not much.
They're not moving. They're the 3 seed. I think that's fair to say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's either Boston or Florida. Pick your poison for the Leafs, but I don't know. Out of all the teams out of the playoffs, I think if Detroit missed, I wouldn't be totally upset because I know they're just going to get pasted in the first round anyway. So,
well, I wonder if Larkin back that helps them. The team I think that may miss
it's the goaltending, though, man.
Is
that's
Philly.
The problem.
Philly is banged up on D. They don't have the goaltending depth that they had at the beginning of the year with Carter Hart. What's the odds of Philly missing the playoffs? What could you get? I'm curious. Occupancy, why don't you talk a little bit about your playoff matchups and where you think it's going to shape up, and we'll move on to Pearlo, and then we'll talk about my little trade proposal I sent you guys.
Yeah. I think the West, when I look at it, I'm looking for teams that are, maybe a little better on the ice than on paper. And, one of those teams I think is St. Louis, actually. I think that St. Louis plays pretty hard, and they do have a Stanley Cup winning goalie back there. I talk about this play, but St. Louis is going on this run. They beat Vancouver. Shen just shouldered Pedersen at the end of the game, and look, if the Blues are going to play physical like that, they may match up well. I don't know if they have direct games against LA, but they just beat Minnesota, who they've been they were jockeying for that last spot. St. Louis has won 4 out of 5. I mean, I don't know. I think if they played LA in a late game, this year where those 2 points mattered, I could see them taking that spot potentially from LA. They have arguably better goaltending.
You want the Blues remaining schedule?
Sure.
Tomorrow they play the Avs.
But it gets easier.
Then they play the Senators, Wild, Golden Knights, Flames, Sharks, Oilers, Preds, Sharks, Ducks, Blackhawks, Hurricanes, Kraken, and Stars. So I could see them winning 75% of those games. Go ahead.
That Golden Knights game, I think in like 2 or 3. That's going to be a huge game.
That's 4 games from tomorrow on next Monday. You'll be on with us.
That's going to be
show. Great
that'll be an interesting one. And look, I mean, I think I can't really see anyone else falling out of the West. That's kind of why I was zoning in on like the St. Louis, LA kind of thing. I mean, I don't see Vegas falling out. I don't see Nashville falling out at this point. So as you're really talking between, I mean, barring some major collapse for Vegas where, Thompson and Hill just sort of kind of keep sucking the way they have been a little bit. But, we're getting a goalie change here over in Seattle. Yeah. Decor got chased. It happens.
I love the Sabres tonight. Yeah. I'm all over the Sabres in this game.
Yeah, I had the Sabres too.
Quick. That's really it though for the West. And, the East. Oh man, the East is so much to talk about too. Because I agree with Beard. I kind of want to know what the odds for Philly to fall out, because they've been just getting waxed by some of these tougher teams. I mean, big losses to Tampa, Toronto, and they were losing bad in Boston. I didn't see that Saturday game, but they did come score a couple at the end. But I think that was like 6-2 or 6-3 or something. And but Philly is. I could see them potentially falling out for Washington, and I don't even know, because from what I've seen from the Islanders lately too, I mean they looked like they were getting closer and to locking in the spot, but they've just been playing pretty poorly. So we'll see how it all shakes out. I'm sure there's we'll get to tomorrow's card. I'm sure there's some important matchups, for playoff seeding, but that's about it for me.
Yeah. Hey, before Pearlo goes, sorry, Pearlo, Ovechkin's got his 21st goal tonight with the 2 goals. He becomes the second player in NHL history tied for second with most 20-goal seasons plus 19. He has 19 seasons of 20 plus goals. Remember, a couple of those seasons were shortened seasons for him. He tied Brendan Shanahan, the only one ahead. Gordie Howe had 22 seasons with 20 goals or more. Mr. Hockey, anytime I can get him into a trivia question or a stat, I love it. So pretty impressive from Ovi. Pearlo, go ahead and talk about where you feel the playoffs are going to shape up, and we'll move on to the next topic.
Howe scored 20 as a 50-year-old. Imagine that. That's freaking amazing. So I don't think anybody's going to beat that record. I think Washington's going to make it in. I agree with you. I was calling for Philly to fade out before the All-Star break and fade out at the end of the year. So I still think that's likely going to happen. Washington, the thing you can say about them, first of all, they're incredibly well coached, but they're big. Like, they're solid. They can go through an 82 game schedule. They got Protas and they got big boys.
They
on
did
that
trade.
line.
They did trade Edmondson and Anthony Mantha, two of the bigger guys on the team. But yes,
honestly, but I mean, I don't think Edmondson was much of a loss, but Mantha was to a certain degree. But they're still overall a very big team. Very Malenstein, their bottom guys. They're a big, solid team, and they're not going to be as worn out as a lot of the other teams, obviously. So you're seeing it with Calgary here. They just played 5 games in 8 nights, man, on the road with travel, and they don't look much worse for wear. Now you're against Calgary.
By the way, they were a dog in this game, up plus 115 against.
Yeah, I admit I have had Calgary, and I kicked myself for that. But yeah, it's just
all over the Caps on this one.
It was a terrible spot. Like, I don't care what team you are, you play 5 games in 8 nights on the road with travel.
Metrics and numbers don't show you, Pearlo. Fucking heart, baby.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. And like, even Colorado, name any team when they play 5 games in 8 nights. Florida, it doesn't matter. It's very seldom you win in that spot. This is more of a. This is more telling of how bad Calgary is right now than anything. Like, this is absolutely horrible loss. Horrible. Like, if I was a general manager right now, I'd lose my freaking mind. You do not lose in this spot ever. It's ridiculous. But anyways, doesn't matter. I think Washington's going to make it in. Detroit, they're 2 green on D, or 2 green up front. Obviously, when it gets down to the nitty gritty, they start to get nervous and fade. You can't survive. You can't just rely on one guy. Like, Larkin leaves the lineup. Like, the character on this team is not there yet, not even close. And Washington's got a ton of character, just in Ovechkin alone. So I think that, and the Islanders, they're going to fade too. Watch this these last games here for Washington, or for the Islanders. It's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, they got straight up, just to comment on the Islanders. I watched the entire game between the New York Rangers on Sunday with my wife. They got worked. They ended up leading that game early because of a really nice play by Bo Horvat, who I think had both their goals. But nobody else on that team looked good at all. And the Rangers straight freaking dominated it. The only thing bad about that game for the Rangers was Charlie Lindgren went down with an injury, and it didn't look good. And I don't know if they could replace a defenseman of his caliber. I don't know what they have in their minors. I know Schneider, some of these guys have got some guys down there. They've got a decent farm team. So that could be the thing. I'll also tell you about the New York Rangers. I love the Winberg Roslovic. Roslovic has been nothing but positive, forechecking, getting on the. I've been really impressed with how he's been playing for the Rangers. They had small ads. Sometimes it's those dinky ads that really could put a team over the top. But yeah, dude, the Islanders looked absolutely terrible. Just to throw it back to you.
Yeah, I mean, I would think I would put more money on Buffalo to make the playoffs than the Islanders right now, to tell you the honest truth. And they're a fair
or the Wings, man. You lose to Pittsburgh, you lose to Arizona twice. Like, these are games you have to have if you're Detroit. Yeah. I'm so pissed off with them, man. I don't even want them making the playoffs. They didn't do anything at the deadline. They didn't do anything to make their team better. Obviously, they've been figured they're going to go into the playoffs with this roster.
Yeah.
Just a couple little dinky ads, like Beard said, man. Just a couple little depth pieces, like a third and a fourth, just to get a couple guys. I mean, what happens when Larkin goes down? You got JT Compher playing top line minutes, and the guy's got 2 points in his last 11 games. Like, it's not working, man.
I think we may have lost the Instagram feed. I apologize to everybody if you were watching on Instagram. Come over to YouTube. You can find me on X or Twitter at Beard_sports, or you can watch me on the Sports Beard on Twitch. Okay, so couple worthy noteful things. Wayne Simmons signs a 1-day contract with the Philadelphia Flyers, so he can retire a Flyer. Makes sense. He played over 500 games for the Flyers. I think he played for 6 or 7 teams anyway. We probably remember him from LA early in his years, obviously with Philly. What a warrior. Guy would fight 240-pound guys. He weighed 180 pounds, soaking wet. If you don't like Wayne Simmons or a type of Wayne Simmons player, you just straight up don't like hockey.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. Simmons in his prime was freaking awesome. Loved him.
Yeah, a couple 30-goal seasons, I think, with the Philadelphia Flyers. That's some pretty good years there. Would have loved this. I think he was on that team that went to the Cup. Or was he not part of that Braden Shen trade? I know that Flyers moved him. I just couldn't remember if that was before or after.
I think he was in that deal. Was it like Brady Shen and a Jeff Carter deal, and Wayne Simmons was in there too? And I think
Richards was in it. Jeff Carter, remember they traded him to
Columbus.
Yeah. I mean, hey, Jeff Carter's still playing, man. I mean,
here's a question: who did they get back? Who was the main player they got back when they traded Carter to Columbus?
I don't know.
Was it Provorov?
No. Okay. Well, we're not going to sit here all day. Voracek.
Oh, Jakub Voracek, yeah. And then he ended up back in Columbus at one point in his career too, didn't he?
Yeah, right at the end. Like I think he's done now. Yeah.
He's still on the books for the Arizona Coyotes, I think, because this is his last year, but he had a really like a career-ending injury.
Yeah.
So Schulte says this team looks terrible without Larkin, and then Petrie and Sherrod are leading defensemen on time on ice. Yeah. That's probably not a success. What, Pearlo? They're on your old Pearlo team, aren't they?
Sherrod is.
Hey, Rico, give us a little French Canadian, not French Canadian. Give us a little French hockey analysis on Ben Sherrod's game for our French speaking.
Oh God, I'm so depressed, man. I don't want to talk about Detroit right now.
Okay, no worries.
I got to take the night off, dude. I'm so pissed off at the Wings. I don't even want to hear them.
Hey, you still got the Leafs, Rico. You still got the Leafs.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, now we're going to face Florida in the first round, and Detroit's going to play Boston. It's like, good night.
Well,
Yeah,
at least you have JT. At least you have JT Compher. That's something you can.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
he's on.
Stanley
He's
Cup
on.
champion, JT Compher. I'm just saying.
Yeah, not a top line center.
No.
Yeah, but he's had to play that with Larkin out too, right? So, okay. I actually am seeing a little bit of notes from a slighted fan base that they thought it was goaltender interference. Again, I never got to see the replay, so I ain't gonna say anything.
It wasn't. Those are homers talking right there.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it, man. No game is over, but the Caps are winning 4-1. Connor McMichael put him up to the 4 spot.
Yeah, there was, speaking of Wayne Simmons, one of the most highly touted power forwards coming in the league. I remember I saw a magazine and it had Wayne Simmons on the cover and Anthony Stewart's brother. What was his name? What was Anthony Stewart's brother's name? What was his name? He played for the Minnesota Wild. Anthony Stewart's brother. They had him and Simmons both.
Yeah.
On the cover of an NHL magazine, Welcome to the New Power or something like that. And it was pretty wild because they're both kind of African American descent or whatever. They both came in the league right around the same time, power forwards. Chris Stewart.
Yeah, Chris Stewart.
Yeah.
Chris Stewart, by the way, only like 41 years or he's born in 87, so he's like 41.
Yeah, he quit early.
No, I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. He's like 37.
Yeah.
I think he came right around the same time as Simmons because I saw him right on the front of a hockey magazine one time. And those guys are just bursting into the league, just solid power forwards and had a good.
Well, yeah, but you know that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes guys forget these guys start playing their pro career when they're like 18, and you know after they get like 15 years in, it doesn't matter what their age is, their body can't do it anymore. I mean, Ryan Whitney's a great example of that. Really good
player young in his career and just had like injury problems, and he just got worse and worse. So, okay, yeah, Seattle's still leading that game 3-1, by the way. We're going to jump into the 13 games tomorrow really quick, but I think I'm going to save the Sidney Crosby. Well, maybe we'll talk about it. I'm wearing a Capitals jersey. I know I don't normally wear a jersey for the show, but it's number 77 in your programs, number 1 in your hearts. TJ Oshie, War Road's own, born in, I think Bellevue, Washington is where he was born, but he grew up in Warward, Minnesota for the most part, a good half of his life. Played in his 1,000th game against the Vancouver Canucks, which they got a nice little 2-1 win. I thought we could catch the Canucks, man, with the Casey DeSmith, that the Caps played really good lockdown defense, and they won that game. And they got to do the same in this. No guarantees, 4-1. I've seen too many games get slipping. But so I wanted to have a discussion with you guys about. Thank you, Salty. Hey, Rick Smith, good to see you too. Rick has some stuff about Simmons, and we'll go back into the Oshie and give you guys some Oshie floor, and then we'll just jump into the games. I think we'll save the Sidney Crosby traded to the Leafs thing for another day. So I didn't mean to mislead, but this team looks terrible without Larkin and Petrie, and Sherratt are leading. Oh, I already said that. I apologize.
Yeah.
There's a comment there. Sorry. Simmer was using leg braces to play. He could barely stand up after the game. He had to fight. God bless him. We will miss him. Yeah, that guy is as tough as nails. That's for sure. Harder than woodpecker lips, as they say.
Who says?
Well,
Who says that? I've never heard that.
That's something I heard a lot in my military career, Rico. And you'll just have
that's a good one, Beard. Harder than woodpecker lips.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay, boys. We'll talk about Sidney Crosby to the Toronto Maple Leafs another day. Let's jump right in to the 13-game slate on a Tuesday, which Tuesdays and Thursdays have become we have 24 games between them, and yours truly, between Rico, Pearlo, and Occupancy, we're going to watch a lot of them. Now, Occupancy, maybe not you as much because of your school situation, but you're looking at the numbers. I know you're looking at all that stuff. Pearlo, I know he's watching them, and Rico, he ain't got anything better to do than me. We're both working on our houses and walking our dogs, in Rico's case, walking his cats, and watching an ass load of hockey. So if you're tuning into us, hey, I know we look like 4 schmucks that you don't know shit, but I'm telling you, Pearlo's got great numbers. You can check out his site, ppalpicks.com. Follow him at his Twitter handle is right there on the screen for you or in the scrolling. Occupancy, that's with a 0. And of course, Rico. So let's jump right into the games here, boys. The first out of the books is a +180 road dog and the Ottawa Senators. The over-under in that game, and I apologize, I'm behind, is 6.
6, I would think.
Go ahead, Pearlo.
Oh, you want me to start? Okay. The only reason why Boston wouldn't win this game is possibly looking ahead to the Rangers game 2 days later. But Ottawa does get up for this for these sort of games. It's sort of like their Stanley Cup to beat a team like Boston. Man, I don't know. My gut says Ottawa might do something here, but I don't want to bet it. So I will go with goals. I think there'll be goals. I'm going to go
You don't have to bet it, Pearlo. If you don't like the game or there's a reason you'd want to stay off of it, I'd rather hear your reason on that. That's okay, man.
I'm just going to go goals. I'm going to go over 6. Over 6. I think there'll be goals, especially if Korpisalo's in net for Ottawa. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Over 6, yeah.
This is the Ottawa Senators Boston Bruins game in Boston tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. Go ahead, Occupancy.
Yeah, as you were kind of saying before, I mean, we all have these teams that we just don't get good reads on and don't do well with the games. I can't read Ottawa for anything right now. I mean, just looking back at their last 5-6 games, I mean, I was on them in San Jose. And then I faded them the next night in Pittsburgh, and they won that game. And just streaky team. You don't know what you're getting from them. They took some money from me over the weekend with the Islanders. Was not pretty happy about that. I agree with Pearlo here. I think it'd be an over 6 or pass for me.
Yeah, your Islanders are sliding a little bit. Rico, go ahead, my man.
Yeah, no, I'm the same with Ottawa. A lot of talent, but a lot of inconsistency as well. They get into these tight games. I think they went into overtime the last 3 games leading up to that 7-2 debacle against Carolina. So this is the 3rd game in 4 nights. Weird spot. They guys got a quick little pit stop in Long Island to win an overtime, then back home against Carolina. Then they're going to Boston here, 3rd game in 4 nights. And then they're going back home against St. Louis on Thursday. Then they're going to New Jersey. Then they're coming home against the Oilers. Then they're going to Buffalo. Then they're home against Chicago. Then they're going to the Jets. Like, what a messed up schedule right now for the Ottawa Senators. They're all over the place. So give me a bit of a tighter game. And I like more of the props in this game than the side probably. Like Danton Heinen's been on the top line for Boston. Pavel Zacha has been chipping in as well. Morgan Geeky props, Jake DeBrusk. So I'll probably lay more on the prop side on Boston than laying any money.
Okay, real quick, to interrupt yet, Jared McCann has made it 3-2 Seattle Kraken. Anyway, carry on.
Fluky goal.
Yeah, not sure about a side. I'll choose goals here, and then I'll probably take some Boston props, maybe 1 or 2 Ottawa props. But
okay, yeah, no worries, man. And if you don't have specifics, that's great. I appreciate it. I mean, keep your best stuff for yourself, but always, it's awesome that you guys give out great picks. Let's go to Enrico. I'm just going to let you start this one since you went last on the other one. The Blue Jackets plus 140 against the Red Wings.
Oh God,
jeez. I like the Blue Jackets at plus 140. Go ahead, Rico. Go ahead.
Red Wings 8-1.
The over
or I'm not cheering for them anymore.
Over under 6.5. Go ahead. You like the Red Wings 8-1?
I mean, they just lost to Pittsburgh 6-3. For God's sakes, I don't know what else to say. They got the Blue Jackets here. Then they got the Islanders, somebody else that's sniffing up the wild card. Then they go to Predators and Washington. So they got these kind of teams that are going to be playing meaningful games as well. But I mean, they got to just whip Columbus here and tuck the 2 points aside. So I can't bet against Detroit here.
Okay. Pearlo, why don't you go?
I hate the number. I don't really trust Detroit, but I kind of got to like same thing. It's like it's if you can't win here, like just don't even bother. Like you got to win this. Like this is an absolute for sure, no doubt about it. Got to win. Columbus just lost 6-1 to Winnipeg at home. They just got shellacked. They've only won 1 game in their last 5. They beat San Jose. They lost to Ottawa. They lost to Montreal. If you can't win here, then it's over. This is a season. The season's over if they lose this game. So I'll tentatively take Detroit.
I don't think the season's over for the Red Wings because we were talking about the Philadelphia Flyers falling out. The Capitals could end up in the 3rd spot in the Metro. Could you imagine if both the Red Wings and the Flyers fall out? But the problem is, this is why Buffalo needs to keep winning because nobody below, including Occupancy's Islanders, wants to win. That's been the biggest thing. Occupancy, go ahead and give us your thoughts on the Red Wings Blue Jackets, and we'll move on to the next game.
So, I don't know.
6.5, just to reiterate, over under 6.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know where this comes in, but I did hear it over the weekend on NHL radio. Apparently, Yzerman doesn't give guys days off. I don't know if has anyone else heard that.
Really?
He was basically on the guys on their day off. He expects them to be at the rink doing stuff. It's kind of like this interesting kind of culture. I mean, I get it to one aspect, but these guys are busy. These guys take a beating. I don't know if that has anything to do with the losing streak, but it's just what's not working for them.
Maybe because
clearly something.
I was away from the rink, he was hitting the bong. He's like, I don't want my players hitting the bong.
I got an idea. How about you send the Red
And
Wings to the Sphere? Send them to the Sphere to watch you too.
Well, no. Say you're going to send them to the Sphere and then take it away at the last minute, because that's what Nashville did, and they're 12-0-2 in their last 14 or something ridiculous. So, no, I haven't heard that occupancy, but I just think they're banged up and they don't have. I also respect Yzerman not giving up assets, because he was like, why back into the playoffs, or why scrape in and not really have a team that can compete? I think I think it shows with his signings. DeBrincat, I had heard a stat today. DeBrincat hasn't scored a 5v5 goal since like December 4th. That's not good, man. That's awful. I know he's got a lot of points.
Yeah, his point prop sitting at like plus 120, plus 140 some nights too. And I'm looking, I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Well, he's getting him on the power play. He doesn't have terrible numbers, but he's not scoring 5v5, which, this is always the argument against the undersized players. I know that we'll say that, but did you get to give your final thoughts on this game, occupancy? I'm sorry.
No, I didn't quite get there yet. I mean, with the price, you can't really just pick one. You got to get creative on how you're going to play Detroit if you want them -1 or a team total, something along those lines. Columbus they're a shit show. I mean, let's be real here. So I don't, I really don't even want to back either of these teams. The way I approached Detroit on Sunday, because I was on the money line yesterday, I took the over as well. The over 6.5 was a plus 100, and Detroit on the money line was a plus 105. So you bet both. I pushed. You win one, lose one. So I think the over 6.5 here. We're seeing Lions' true colors, man. He's he played well, and he's kind of fallen back to just average and even sub-average. He got lit up, so I think we can get 7 goals.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that over under too, man. No worries there. By the way, Ovechkin, third all time. He scored 174 against 174 different goalies. He's going to pass. He'll pass the guys in front of him just by the sake. Yager scored on 178 different goalies, and Patrick Marleau scored on 177. All that means is you played a long time, really. And when Gordy played, he probably played against the same 6 goalies for a lot of years, so he didn't get those numbers of different goalies. But that's when goalies played 82 games a season. So occupancy likes the over 6.5. I don't hate that either. Let's go to the Penguins Devils occupancy. I'll let you lead it off. Penguins are a plus 114 road dog.
Yeah, this one's interesting. This one seems like the Pittsburgh kind of just they're accepting what's going on and they're just playing hockey again. Bunting was getting in the crease last night when he's scoring. The team's doing okay. Lars Eller is getting on the scoreboard with some good tip-ins. I mean, he's a hockey guy. He's been on the Caps and
Montreal. Yeah, he's been around.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, no, and he's good. So I think maybe they're just loosening the grip on the sticks a little bit and they're just playing. And the Devils, man, Saturday afternoon getting lit up 3-0 in first period in Arizona is just not a way you want to go out west. So I mean this I would be Pittsburgh or nothing here. I would definitely be interested in a Pittsburgh ticket. I think they're just, I mean, playoffs are what they are, but they're winning. They're
not out of it. They're not out of it. Pittsburgh's not out of it. Could you imagine if they make it? I know every time
that'd be
again, though. The problem is the Islanders and Wings and the Flyers keep losing, and they haven't put enough. If they were playing 500 hockey, the Pens would be dead. But the Pens aren't dead. If there's anybody on the planet that wants to see the Pens dead, it's me. I fucking hate them. I want to see them be dead, but they're not dead. They're
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
They still ain't dead. They're like the Undertaker meme. They're not
Yeah.
dead, and they could make it look like Florida last year. It was a miracle they got in. And I'm telling you, all you hockey analysts that say you watch, you don't fucking watch. You people have not watched the Nashville Predators. If you think the Nashville Predators couldn't go on a run and make the conference finals, you're out of your mind, because they got the goalie, they got the defenseman, and they got a pretty damn good defensive two-way forward that's done it. I don't know what you're looking at. That team has a team that could win. I know they traded, but it's like they're making the playoffs. I don't understand these. We're going to see some upsets and some legit Stanley Cup champions. I just told you those numbers. Winnipeg is 2-0 against Colorado. They've outscored them 10-4. Colorado is 3-0 versus Dallas. They've outscored them 16-8. Dallas is 3-0 versus Winnipeg, and they've outscored them 9-3. And Dallas hasn't even played that good defensively this year. So anyway, you guys, you gotta watch the games, bro. Like, if you've watched Nashville the last 2 weeks, they've been murdering teams and teams that need wins. So I'm with you, Occupancy. I don't know how you bet against Sidney Crosby at +114 against the way the Devils are playing defense. They are awful. And even though I've liked Allen. I've seen Allen a couple times at net. He's not played bad, but the team in front of him is just done, I think. Rico, what do you think of this game?
Yeah, I know the Devils are so banged up on D right now. Vegas outplayed them. I'm glad I got Vegas on the puck line. It took a little bit of a sweat there, but they were all over them. Me and Pearlo were talking during the game, and like we couldn't believe that Vegas wasn't up like 5-6-1 there. Pittsburgh needs to win this game, although it is for 3 games in 4 nights. Pittsburgh isn't the best team on the road. That's the only thing that scares me. But one other thing they got going for them right now is that New Jersey's coming off a road trip, and this is their first big game back home as well, too. Their defensive depth is just non-existent right now. Pittsburgh's playing with a little bit of life, and I know Pittsburgh, I think they got Colorado, Dallas, Carolina after this, like murderer's row of 3 games after this game against New Jersey. So this is a big win for Pittsburgh to bank these 2 points here, because they know the next 3 games aren't going to be very, very easy. So yeah, I'll take Pittsburgh here on the road. Catch New Jersey sleeping a little bit. Pittsburgh's legs will be going. You want to get up early on New Jersey, maybe a first period puck line for Pittsburgh, just because New Jersey off the road trip, the legs are still going for Pittsburgh. The game will probably die out as the game goes on, but I'd probably go Pittsburgh full game, but maybe a first period puck line. Try to make some quick money in the first period too.
Okay, Rico, thank you. Pearlo, why don't you give us your thoughts, and we'll move on to the Jets Rangers.
Well, you talked about watching the games. If you're taking New Jersey here, you haven't been watching the games. This team is absolute ass. It's horrible. There's no way. I mean, Pittsburgh's coming. Pittsburgh is looking like they are going to give her one good go, and it seems like Crosby or maybe Sullivan or whatever said, "Hey, why don't we just give her a shot, guys?" Like that's kind of what Occupancy was saying, and that's kind of the feeling I get. Coming off of an eastern or western road trip to an eastern road trip, you lose to Vegas 3-1, 4-1. They can't score with a damn. They did light up Dallas, but Dallas was in a bad spot. Before that
Vegas game was pretty close for a while.
It was a little bit, but they still couldn't. Like they can't score right now. It just seems like they don't have the drive. And a lot of that has to do with the fact, like Rico was saying, is their defense is so banged up, like it's really bad, and they don't have the goaltending to hold it up. I imagine they'll be playing Allen here, but I'll take the plus money on Pittsburgh before I'll ever take New Jersey. So give me.
It sounds like free money to me.
And here's the thing to add on what Pearlo is saying with Allen. I mean, they were talking. They needed to give Allen extra rest. He played way better in Dallas, and then they went to Kakkonen in Arizona when they probably should have just went back to Allen. He was on, and then Allen does okay. But if Travis Green is coming in and doing the split, and he gives Kakkonen the start tomorrow, I might double up on Pittsburgh because
Yeah,
we watched Kakinen play a lot here, and don't let him fool you. He looks okay in the first period, but that guy will let up 4 goals. It's almost guaranteed when that guy's in. He lets up 4 goals at least. So
yeah, I agree.
Pittsburgh played on the weekend too, didn't they? And they won a pretty. They beat the Red Wings 6-3. So, like, another reason why I don't like the Red Wings and I like Pittsburgh on this one. I know they're playing New Jersey. Pearlo, why don't you take us right into Jets Rangers? Jets actually a road dog, 105 against Rangers. Look really good against the Islanders. But they aren't missing now Trouba and Lindgren. Trouba's been out for a while for them. We haven't talked about it because they haven't played bad without him. I actually think it's a blessing in disguise for them. He can get some rest. But go ahead, Perlo, give us your thoughts, and I'll get the over-under to you here real quick. The over-under in that game is 5.5, so they don't have a high number on it.
I'm going to take a little flyer on Winnipeg here. They got Rangers have Boston next. It's kind of a look-ahead spot. They don't really care about Winnipeg. They don't give a shit if they beat Winnipeg or not. It's a Western Conference team. Winnipeg needs this more than the Rangers do. It just feels like a dead spot for the Rangers. I could see Winnipeg doing something here. I could see them taking it. So I'll put a little bit on. I'm going to put a little bit on Winnipeg. It's hard to go against the Rangers right now, but I think Winnipeg can do it.
Go. Sorry. Did we lose you?
No.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Okay. Were you finished?
Yeah, I'm done. That's it. I kind of like Winnipeg. That's it.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't hate Winnipeg here. I think the Rangers are banged up on the back end. I think you get a good team like Winnipeg at plus money, I would take it. Rico, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with Perlo there too, and I know Lindgren. If he's out of the lineup, he's banged up. Like it seems like that guy plays hurt all the time. Probably one of the most like just guys with the biggest heart out there, man. This guy just leaves it all out on the ice, so he must be hurt. Hopefully, he gets back at a decent time there. As far as things to play for, both these teams have teams to play for. Carolina and New York are fighting for that division right now, and then the Jets are going to want to win the East like Colorado and Dallas are. So they both have teams to play for. My first thought here is a draw. The next one is this Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Rangers 3 game in 4 nights. The only thing that worries me about the Jets is they beat shitty teams and they lose to good teams. It feels like the Jets have been doing lately. So,
yeah, I think they're 2-7 against playoff teams. And they've been really bad against really good teams. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll probably take a play on the draw here, just because East Coast, West Coast. Let's get the point and get out of town, and maybe a small play on the Jets as well too. Just they might just have a little bit more to give here than the Rangers as far as penetrating the back end of New York without Trouba and Lindgren. But I expect Hellebuck to have a good game. Playoff type atmosphere at MSG. Probably these teams don't play each other too often, so it'll probably be tight. I would consider probably the draw there, maybe a small play on Winnipeg.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Occupancy, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm not rushing to fade New York. If this game was in Winnipeg, I would probably be on the Jets. But I just think even with a banged up blue line, I don't know. I mean, it feels like they're pretty even here, so I'd be looking at a draw. Ultimately, Rangers, since the loss to Tampa, haven't lost since March 4th. So you got to go back pretty far to see a Rangers loss. Winnipeg lost to Nashville, lost to Vancouver, lost to Seattle. You know, their win-lose still a great team, and ultimately, I was hoping this would be the Blake Wheeler former team angle here. But unfortunately, Blakey boys out. So good game. I'd probably look at an under draw split.
I like the
if we're getting Hellebuck, but quick.
Yeah,
Even Brossois. What Brossois had back-to-back shutouts. I mean,
yeah, just real quick, and I think we can move on from this game. The Winnipeg Jets have the 21st power play or penalty kill in the league. I think the Rangers are like number 1 this year on the power play. So that's the only thing that would scare me. But if they're missing Trouba and Lindgren, that could be a thing there. So thanks for the update and the score, Rick. It looks like Calgary has scored to make it 4-2. That game is long in the tooth, though. I think it's close. I think we've played almost
halfway through the third.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought we 12:47 left there. Calgary gets back in the game here a little bit, which I expected. That'd be the only thing that scared me about. I was trying to find Winnipeg's legit record against winning teams this year. I think it's not great, but I do think with the Rangers being down some folks, that could be a factor. Yeah, thanks, Rick. Appreciate you keeping us abreast. Trying to pay attention to two games. Of course, because we can't get NHL Network or the Seattle Kraken games here, I'm watching those through a service that's not always present. Anyway, so Maple Leaf Flyers occupancy. Why don't you just jump right into that one? We'll go back around the horn there with Rico and then Pearlo finish it off. The Flyers are a home dog, and likely so. They've been banged up. The over/under is 6.5. What do you like in that one?
I like the Leafs here. Kind of with the narrative here that Philly's going to fall out. Toronto's still won 3 out of 5. They just beat this Philly team 6-2 last week.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and they
kind of see a game script like that again.
Yeah.
No, they're not, and Toronto might be a little pissed off from the shootout loss on St. Paddy's Day, right?
Yeah, they had a 4-1 lead against Carolina,
right?
Didn't they? They could have been a 4-0 in that game at one point. But I remember being 4-1, and I was like, watch Carolina get back into this, and they did. They won. Carolina won in a shootout. Rico, am I wrong there?
Yeah. I was out for St. Paddy's Day, and I was standing around a bar, and I saw some friends I haven't seen for a while, and they put a live bet on Carolina to come back and win. So they bought the round that night.
So you were happy as shit. You were like, Leafs lost, but we're drinking.
Yeah. So they put the live bet on Carolina. I convinced the one guy to bet on the Hyman first goal in the second game, but it didn't hit. So I didn't tell him to put $50 on it, but that was his issue.
Was that the by the way, we haven't talked, was that the Colorado Edmonton game?
Yeah.
That was such a great game. And I'm telling you, if it's Colorado and Edmonton in the Western Conference Finals, I'm riding that. They straight dominated that game. And in fact, if it wasn't for Stuart Skinner, who played incredible, I think the Edmonton loses that game like 5-2 or something. Like an unbelievable effort by Nathan McKinnon at the end of that game too. And I was laughing so hard and pumping my fist because, I love to root against the Edmonton.
Colorado is such a fun team to watch now. Like it just whenever they're on, just turn them on because they're such a good team to watch.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you're taking the Leafs here too, Rico?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could think of is that's Torts' first game back behind the bench. He's pissed off. The team's pissed off. They lost 6-2. They're going to crash and bang. But the Leafs have a little more physicality on their team, adding Dewar and Edmondson and stuff. So I think Philadelphia will probably come out pretty hard in the first. Toronto is just going to have to play and try stymie that. The only thing is Marner didn't make the 2-game road trip and Yankrok's gone. So now they got probably Pontus Holmberg on the first line. They got probably Bobby McMahon on the second line. It's just they're spread out a little bit. So there's some value in the props for the Leafs because you're probably going to see some goals. Maybe those guys cashing in from Matthews and Nylander being on both their lines. So look out for like Pontus Holmberg props and Bobby McMahon props, because they're going to pay pretty good. They're both playing top line minutes in Philly. I mean, the Leafs should ultimately pull this game out, but I know Philly will come out and play probably pretty hard with Torts back around the bench, and then them losing 6-2 back on their home ice, and they're trying to fight for their playoff lives right now, even though they're in a spot. This is a game where Philadelphia is going to come out with full effort, so just be careful on this game, I think. But I'll probably be on more props than anything, because if I bet Toronto, it's just I don't enjoy watching a game when I bet on the Leafs sometimes, and this is a game that I know Philly's going to come out pretty hard against them, so probably just take the Leafs because I'm going to cheer for them, but I'll go more on the props because I'm going to see some goals in this game.
Yeah, Andrew, that is not what I have heard. Marner is not going to be back soon. I've heard that high ankle sprain is a problem. And he's not even skating. So that is incorrect information.
Yeah. He's day-to-day like the rest of us.
He's day-to-day to being day-to-day is what Sheldon Keefe said. So I think he's 2 weeks away from skating. I think he is probably not coming back until the playoffs. That is my prediction.
Why couldn't he do this before the trade deadline?
Right? You got the cap relief. You still got to have assets to trade, Rico, but I got you. And, the big problem with Toronto is everybody knows what you have. Go ahead, Pearlo. Give us your thoughts on this game.
I mean, I like Toronto too. The only hesitation I have is that they have Carolina at home after this. And it could be a little bit of a letdown spot for them, like a look ahead, I should say. But I can't. Ersson is he's faded off real bad, and he's supposed to be in for Philadelphia. And that's really kind of where the real problem is right now. You mentioned it there with not having the goaltending depth, and Ersson's not a big goaltender, and it looks like he's fading, especially in front of a defense that's pretty beat up as well. So I'm probably going to end up with Toronto in regulation or something like that. And I think I agree with Rico. I think there will be enough goals to get over 6.5 here as well. Samsonov has been playing a lot better, but I mean,
we think it's going to be Wall in net against Philly.
Oh yeah, Wall, right? Yeah, that's the thing there. If it's Wall, maybe.
Yeah, I think both Rick and Andrew say Wall will be in net.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the idea. I'm going to go with the idea that this is Torts coming back behind the bench. They're going to be fired up over first period, or both teams to score first period. Might be a really good look here. That might be a really good look down there.
Yeah, you see what Philly has next? Did you see their schedule? They got the Leafs, the Hurricanes, the Bruins, and the Panthers, and the Rangers. Like, if we're gonna see Philadelphia bounce out of the playoffs, it's gonna be in the next week, boys.
They got a murderer's row. I'm gonna tell you, if I'm a Flyers fan, I want to miss the playoffs. You need talent, and you need to be drafting in the top 10, and you traded for some first round picks, the Sean Walker. You lost some defensive depth. Drysdale's out for them. Obviously, I heard they just put Ellis on LTIR to now. I guess they didn't need it, obviously, right? Because they weren't hurting on salary cap floor or bottom, but I guess they've decided to put him on LTIR finally. So it looks like he probably never plays again, right? And I think he's still got 2 or 3 years left on that deal. So I'll look it up on Cap Friendly here when we're moving on here. Okay, I think everybody got to talk Leafs Flyers. You did. Did you, Occupancy? Did you get Leafs Flyers? You did, right? Yes, I thought you started it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Pearlo, why don't you give us Hurricanes Islanders? That is a huge game for the Islanders who are at home. They're a home dog, plus 136. The over-under is 6. Man, the Hurricanes been playing well. Pearlo, give us your thoughts on that game.
Islanders are going to get ruined. Carolina puck line.
Okay.
That's
all right. I like it. Short, sweet, and concise. Rico, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, Islanders 4 games in 6 nights. You're getting scoring from everywhere with Carolina. Even Bobby Orlov got 2 goals in the last game. So, and he's on the third freaking pair. Oh, geez. Yeah, Freddie Anderson playing well since he's been back. Sorokin. I mean, God, it's a tough
yeah,
spot for the Islanders, man.
The Islanders don't match well with Carolina either.
Yeah, I mean, third game in 4 nights for the Islanders. They were at Buffalo, at home to Ottawa, at the Rangers. I know now they're across the bridge or whatever against Hurricanes, but then they're going to Detroit 2 nights later. Then they're home against the Jets. It's just weird little schedule going on for the Islanders too after they've been out west. So Carolina's looking for that division. They want the Metro, and this will be another stepping stone for them, I think. Yeah, it's hey, Carolina
Rico.
or nothing here.
Hey Rico, hey, I know you didn't have a great day, so I wanted to cheer you up. Did you see that Joey Votto hit a home run in his first at bat with the Toronto?
Yeah, and then he ran to second, and then nobody knew whether it was a home run or not. So then the umpire called home run, so he kept on trotting by, and then he got out of the game because he stepped on a bat. And they're like, "What the fuck is this? It's the major leagues. When do you step on a bat? Why is a bat laying around?" So
yeah. Anyway, I was trying to cheer you up, man. I was trying to cheer you up. Go ahead, occupancy. I want to hear about how you feel. It's your Islanders. What do you got?
Yeah, it's tough as a fan, Beard, when you ask me that way. You know, as a bettor, I'm just looking at form, and Carolina's been no, but I just don't want to go on a tirade that I probably already said on the show about how the team is built for 2014 NHL and they don't have the speed to keep up with the game that, because that ultimately that's kind of how I think of this team. But, one thing from a betting perspective is I heard over the weekend, a handicapper I really respect was taking a lot of puck lines. And that's something I usually don't do, the -1.5. I usually really rarely take a -1.5 ever because it's, too risky.
Yeah, the games are tight. Yeah, games are tight.
Yeah, I really don't do a lot of puck lines, but actually, if you look at the Saturday card, there were quite a couple puck lines hit. Heavy favorites covering the puck line. Rangers covered -1.5. Vegas covered -1.5. Nashville covered so a lot of these teams are covering the -1.5. So anyway, I look for this game. I'd probably have to be on Carolina -1.5.
Okay.
Do I think the Islanders can dig deep and make a run? Maybe. I just don't think it's going to start tomorrow.
Yep. That I totally get it. And I know the Carolina, they're playing for that 1 seed too. So, okay, let's move on. Let's just go right to the Sharks Preds real quick. I don't want to spend too much time on this because we have a lot of games left to talk about. Sharks are +310 road dogs in Nashville. I'm going to guess, occupancy, you are either not betting this game or you're on some sort of Preds prop.
So I got 2 looks. It's a Predators puck line -1.5. I think they're just playing really well. But if you want to look at a prop, you could look at a Mikael Granlund prop, going back to his old team in Nashville from the Sharks.
There you go. Yeah, goal scoring. I love it. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that. Because I don't want to spend any real time on games that really are meaningless. Because I don't think if Nashville somehow lost this game, I don't think it would be that bad of a loss. The Sharks don't want to win anymore. They're right now in sole possession of that Macklin Celebrini pick. If I'm the Sharks fans, I want to lose. Rico, I'm guessing you're on the Preds or
but I'm on a point prop, which I've been cashing all year as well too, because he's got 50 of them. Is Roman Josi assist prop usually pays about +105 to +110 every night. You're making money more often than not. Just take the Roman Josi assist prop and call it a day.
Nice. Perlo, give us your thoughts.
The only problem I'd have is that Nashville's going to play Florida after this, but San Jose sucks so bad. I think,
and they want to lose, don't they? At this point, don't they want to lose? Just good. They want to lose in a good way,
especially on the road. Especially on the road.
Yeah, especially on the road. Yeah, I would say Nashville wants to get rid of this right away, so they don't have to burn themselves out before they head off to Florida. So I would say Nashville first period puck line probably getting a pretty decent price on that. And then, full game puck line or whatever, I guess. Who's going to be in net? I didn't even check. Does it matter? Like, neither goaltender is any good for
No, I mean, it doesn't matter because Nashville's going to have the better goalie regardless.
Lankinen will be in net for them. I'm pretty sure. So first period puck line and maybe team total over Nashville or something like that. Yeah.
Or they have Vanacek now. Has Vanacek played for the Sharks at all occupancy?
He's hurt.
I don't think not yet.
Okay,
He's hurt.
They're riding
banged up.
Cooley.
Okay,
This new kid Cooley, one of the first Santa Clara or second Santa Clara resident to ever play on the Sharks. He's a local guy. Cooley, the goalie, and then Magnus Corona is the other goalie there.
Yeah.
Oh, this Cooley kid's from San Jose, and he's on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is
Yeah.
awesome. Has he played a game?
Yeah.
he
Played
had his
well.
first start in Chicago, and they were winning almost all game and let up 3 goals in the third period.
Which is beneficial for them. I heard they
Yeah.
tweeted, sorry, maybe not, or something like that. It was very ambiguous. Okay, let's move on to a great game. It's going to be a good one. Can't wait. This one I'll be trying to tune in and host a show at the same time because it'll be in probably the third period of the first hour of our show. Avalanche Blues. Why don't you just go ahead, occupancy, and kick that off? Blues are a plus 170 home dog. I've loved what the Blues, I mean, they've just been playing their nuts off. And but this game is important for both teams. So, and this is always a sneaky good game, I always think. The Blues usually play the Avs pretty tough. Go ahead, occupancy.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned before, 4 of the last 5 Blues winning. But the one number I'll keep this quick with St. Louis here at home. St. Louis is 21-12, and you're up 12 units betting on the money line every St. Louis home game.
Oh, nice.
Which is the highest home plus minus as on the card in the league, in the national. I hate that it's against Colorado. It's probably only a couple teams I wouldn't want to see on the other side of that one. But gun to my head, down on my last unit, be Blues money line.
Do we lose
Next, no, yeah. Someone else want to jump in?
Oh, sorry.
All right,
I was Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. St. Louis, yeah, I mean, great record at home. Thanks for pointing that out. Third game in 4 nights. I know this is the last game before St. Louis goes out to Ottawa and Minnesota as well too. Third game, 4 nights. Sometimes the boys have their bags packed. They're making plans for their trip and stuff. Colorado's got that winning streak, and they're tied with the Jets right now with 91 points. So that's going to be a key night. Keep an eye on that Colorado-St. Louis game and the Winnipeg Rangers game. Those are two very important games to keep an eye on as far as the Central Division standings go. I mean, that first line, like you mentioned in St. Louis the other night, the coach putting Brady Shen in at the end of the game instead of Kyrou on that power play, and Shen actually ended up being a part of that goal there. A lot of talk about Kyrou not stepping up in these big games as well too, and moving Shen up the lineup as well. St. Louis is playing like they mean something, and they want to get into the playoffs as well. It's going to be an amazing game to watch. Tough betting against the Blues here. Tough betting against Colorado because of this winning streak and the spot. But I mean, Blues are sneaky at home. Good goaltending. You know, Binnington could outplay Georgiev in any game just because of experience. So, I mean, for the money at plus 170, I probably just have to throw money on the Blues. There's no way I'm taking Colorado in this game. Just the return on investment doesn't make sense here. But, I mean, all signs point to Colorado, but it should be a tight game, probably be back and forth. But I'll take a sprinkle on the Blues, but I think they're moving Braden Shen. He's on that top line with Robert Thomas and Kyrou right now. Zach Bolduc's not a bad guy to play props with right now, with Jake Neighbors as well too. So there's the guys that don't pay too well, like the Nikushins, the Rantanens, the McKinnons over on the Colorado side. But Devon Toews is always a pretty good play for a point prop. Usually is around even money as well too. So take a Devon Toews point prop in that game, and you'll usually cash it on the Colorado side if you don't want to put juice on the other guys.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're all kind of on the same page here. A little afraid to take Colorado in this spot for the money that it's offering up. But one thing I will do, and I can't believe this didn't happen with the Oilers, it's only because Skinner was out of his mind that stayed under. That should have been an over. And St. Louis really hasn't been shutting people down.
How many had the over? And I know you guys did, and we're just like midway through that game, we're totally effed.
Well, I'm not going to bet against Colorado scoring a lot of goals. It just sometimes you get goalied, and that's with this one. That's what makes it kind of tough too, because I don't know if you saw Binnington play the last game he played, but holy crap, did he look like he was out to beat the world. And that would be my biggest reservation for taking an over here. And also the biggest one for taking Colorado as well.
And Colorado can get goalied. Like, that's a possibility and a half. Because I agree with you on Binnington. He has played unflippin' believable. Yeah. Unflippin' believable. Yeah. You guys are a little bit ahead of me on this. I got like 47 seconds left. I'd like to see
just scored.
Buffalo scored to make it 4-2.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for keeping an eye.
Here's something though. St. Louis are 0-9-9 straight up in their last 9 games playing at home against Colorado.
Yeah, I always said that. I said earlier, they play them tough, man. They play like Colorado had to, just like St. Louis had to get kind of over Chicago, Colorado kind of had to get over the Blues a little bit there in the playoffs too. And because the Blues have kind of had their number. They just play them tough.
No,
so
what I said was,
by the way, with the goal for Buffalo.
St. Louis is 0-9. They haven't beat Colorado at home in 9 straight games.
9 games.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's fair. The St. Louis have not been great the last 3 seasons or so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Pearlo from the top rope, so not bad stat, Pearlo.
I absolutely love to see a combo of Caps, Sabres, Pens, and the wild card spots. Yeah, you know what? That might be happening, HGH, and it's great to see you. Thanks for retweeting out the thing.
Sabres.
Isex is I think Isex had Sabres 4-2. I think he probably was
5-2.
He had it the other way. He had Seattle winning, I guess. Okay. So let's talk Canadians, Oilers. I don't think we need to spend too much time. Pearlo, you were in Edmonton. Why don't you just finish that one out? Oh, we got another goal from Buffalo, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, it's 5-2 Buffalo.
Yeah, not final, Andrew. This game's only in the second period. Buffalo's going to win this game easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Andrew, you're talking about the Caps game. Sorry. Yep. Thank you. So Pearlo, go ahead and talk about Edmonton and the Montreal Canadiens, and we'll move on to the next.
I feel sorry for Montreal here. After losing to Colorado, like they're going to be pissed. They're not. I think they're going to take everything out on this. This is just going to be disgusting. -2.5. Go. The Oilers are going to absolutely obliterate them. I think. I don't. Is there a look ahead spot here or something? No, they got Buffalo after.
No, it doesn't matter. That team is 750, by far the best in the NHL since they hired Knobloch. He's done a really good job there. They're a wagon. They should be contending for the Stanley Cup final. We'll see.
I'll take Edmonton team total over 1.5 first period. That'll probably give you a plus money. I'll take -2.5. Or what's the team total over is probably 4.5. That may be a little rich, but I think they can do that easy. Like, I think this could be a disgusting, just so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Montreal hasn't played particularly well the last few weeks too. They're starting to fade a little bit.
It's not going to be pretty. I don't think. Yeah.
Rico, go ahead, give us quick dots, and then we'll jump to Wild Ducks. And
yeah, no, you can't not take the Oilers here. First period, puck line, full game puck line. Zach Hyman or Draisaitl, first goal of the game.
Get some nice parlay action going. Maybe make a big.
Yeah, take one of those two guys. They're usually +7, +800, whatever. Throw a couple bucks on one of them. Zach Hyman's probably got the most first home goals in the league. I'm pretty sure. I looked at that stat before I gave it to my buddy at the bar the other night, which he lost on. But
I'll take Hockey Sense. Draisaitl goal, easy money.
Well, you got to put Pearlo's piano on that to get back an accordion, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Yeah. But if you get +800, man, you put $10. That's $80 you win, right?
First goal. Yeah.
First goal, easy money. Draisaitl, easy money. First goal.
Yeah,
Either him or Hyman. We
always encourage responsible betting and gambling, but
Yeah.
you throw $100 on a plus 27,000.
Yeah, you know what's funny though is Montebo's already confirmed, So like they're just making the guy sweat in his boots already. Like is there a reason why NHL teams already just confirm a goalie, like confirmed? I wonder why they do that so early. Like the guy's got to sweat a flight from Calgary to Edmonton right now, knowing that he's going in there against one of the premier sharpshooters in the league.
I'll be honest with you, Rico. I think it may actually have to do with gambling. I think they have to let the books know at a certain time. Now, obviously,
the thing is, there's only one goalie confirmed and not the other. I wonder what the process for that is.
I think this is a special case because St. Louis just stepped down.
What?
St. Louis stepped away from the team.
Martin St. Louis did?
Yeah.
Not for good.
He's going to be he's going to just be away from the team for a while.
I did not. How did I miss this news?
Yeah,
I was all over. How did I miss this news?
It's family reasons. Yeah,
I know what Rico's saying. Like, I think just maybe the interim coach is maybe saying, hey, let's just tell him early. But typically, I don't see confirmations. Before puck drop a couple hours before the morning of. So, but yeah. Maybe this is just the guy watching the reins here, just making an early call.
Mm-hmm. Because it has to do a lot with betting too.
Yeah, I've heard people make the comparison to baseball where they want the listed goalie, so in case anything changes, your bet wouldn't actually even count if they change up the goalie. Because in baseball, it's a listed pitcher, so if Garrett Cole is starting, it's got to have, he's got to throw the first pitch or,
Yeah, unless there's an injury. There's always injuries and stuff. I've seen guys get hurt. So I get that there's changes. And there's just things you can't predict. But I thought a lot of it had to do with gambling. I know like NFL, like the whole injury thing, because it's a HIPAA violation. But because of the gambling industry, it's like, no, you have to this is why these guys are out. You have to say who's not playing so the gamblers can set the lines. Now, the difference in football is you usually have about a week between the games, right? Where it's hockey, it's a little harder. So I'm sure there's not, like a mandatory time. But I believe they have to let the books know. They have to let the books know of people not playing or like star players being out injured. Because they will slide the lines one way or another. I mean, they adjust the lines. I think that's how that information gets out to the books anyway.
Hot Take Hockey has a great point in the chat. Imagine Lightning Rangers first round.
Dude, I mean, the Rangers kind of don't match up well against them. I'll be honest with you. If I'm somebody in the Atlantic, I don't want to play the Lightning.
That'd be a crazy series, man. These guys are coming on too.
No,
I don't want to play the Lightning in the first round. And I'm telling you, the Dumba Duclair ad looks like it's a perfect fit.
Oh, yeah. That's
They're
exactly.
not asking those guys to do more than they're allowed to do. And they just needed some depth on that team. They've been kind of banged up. They're missing Sergachev. I'd give Bruce Bois a lot of credit for what he brought in for really not costing a lot. And he brought in some decent. I know Dumba's all Pearlo, team all Pearlo there, but
yeah, he's on the second pair. He's on the second pair, Pearlo? He's on the second pair with Sherratt.
But he's physical, he's gritty, he's chippy. Like, he's the perfect guy you want in playoffs. Like, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
You always want defensemen that suck at defense in the playoffs for sure. Definitely.
I don't know, man. I like Cooper as a coach. Maybe he puts him in the right position and he does okay, man. I've not hated what I've seen from him since he's been in Tampa. But I can't disagree with you. Like, I don't think there was a lot of interest in him. And if you look at his numbers, they weren't good. And you've been on that. I'm not. I get it. But sometimes, he's not going to play top pair for them. He's playing bottom pair. Yeah, he's not going to replace Sergachev, but like, they have Cernak back. I think he's more than capable of being in that top four. And we're forgetting the Tampa Bay Lightning's window is not closed.
Yeah, don't underestimate plucking a guy off bottom feeder teams like Duclair and Dumba either. You put them in a good situation, they just start motivating the player a little bit, and that's all they need, man. Duclair was great with Florida a couple of years ago. Dumba was okay in Minnesota when they were making the playoffs every year.
Go ahead, Occupancy. You wanted to say?
No,
something.
I'm just saying Tampa's an extremely dangerous team, and all they got to do is put a run together. Got one of the best goalies to lace up the skates, put on the pads, in the league. Once those guys get going, look, they're, they know how to pace themselves. They've been there before. This isn't their first rodeo, so I would not want to be playing them first round at all. Yeah.
And we're going to talk about their game against Montreal. Let's get into the Wild versus the Ducks real quick. Ducks are a plus 180 home dog. Go ahead, Occupancy. Why don't you just give us Wild are still in the mix here. They could be in that eight.
Minnesota's a good team right now to be looking at, and Kaprizov's back, and Boldy's getting on the score sheet. All their guys going. This is a team who's won 3 out of 5. Their only losses are 1-goal losses against Colorado and St. Louis. They beat Nashville, who we've just been talking about all show, Arizona and the Ducks, and they're playing the Ducks again. I mean, this is a Minnesota minus 1.5 and Minnesota team total over 3.5 type of game for me. Just got to check the prices on those two things, but that's the way I'm looking for this one.
Yeah, right on. Rico, why don't you give us your quick thoughts on Ducks Wild or Wild at Ducks, excuse me. I can give you the over-under. I apologize for not giving that. I was kind of lost in the sauce here, but that was I apologize. That game is over under 6.
Yeah, I know. I love the Wild. I love the way they're playing. Since a few games ago, I saw them play Nashville at home. They're giving Marc-Andre Fleury the starts. He's got a .97 goals against. I think he was in the top 3 for the NHL Stars of last week.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
this could
be it, right? There's rumors that this could be it for MAF and or Flower, and but anyway, go.
I know. Minnesota rolled. Anaheim's off a road trip. I mean, they're coming back home. Minnesota needs a point. This is going to be probably a 4-1 Minnesota game. They're not going to blow them out 8 or 9-1, I don't think. But
we're also forgetting Anaheim traded Carrick and Henrique, 2 guys that were logging a considerable amount of minutes.
Yeah, if you look at their lineup, Anaheim, it's like an AHL team with Troy Terry and Alex Killorn on it. Leo Carlson, it's nice to see him back, and he's actually been playing really, really well. He had a good game last game for Anaheim, but apart from that, there's not a whole lot there right now. Dostals, you could tell he's played enough games that he's starting to wind down a little bit too. He was saving 35, 40 shots a game there for a while.
That man gives it both,
taking its toll. Yeah. So off a road trip, Minnesota, they're gonna go in there. I'll go Minnesota puck line. That'll cash.
Pearlo, real quick, and then we'll move on to Blackhawks, Kings, and Sabres, Canucks, and then finish off with the Golden Knights, Lightning. Go ahead, Pearlo.
The Ducks are the Ducks. They'll lose to just about anybody in hardcore right now. They're on the golf course before the second period's over. So, yeah, taking Minnesota puck line.
Oh, man. All right. Well, Pearlo, why don't you
Little's
kick
got
it off?
confirmation. Are they lefties or righties? Do they draw? Are they fade? Or how are they on the greens? I need the info, man. I got to bet
I'm
on
not sure. I think Jacob Silverberg has probably got to have one of the best golf games out there because
it. Oh, he's out of the playoffs every year.
he hasn't been able to play hockey.
Hey, I mean, Timu can play some pretty good golf from what I've
John
seen.
Gibson probably fires it right down the middle.
Is like when you know what Jacob Silverberg's contract is so bad, nobody even talks about how bad it is.
Well, his name was he wasn't even listed as a trade thing, isn't he? Isn't this the last year of the deal? And nobody even like his name wasn't out there at all.
No, not at all. Like, but when you talk about like worst contracts, remember it was Skinner, and you could name like people completely forget. Like his so bad, like people even forget that he exists. The guy's making 5.250, and he's done nothing for years, and he gets away with it in Anaheim.
Yeah, he didn't start there, right? Was he part of a trade with Pittsburgh? Was that another guy Pittsburgh traded, or?
I think he's a lifelong Duck. I could be wrong, but I think he is. Like I said,
yeah, look that up. Anyway, let's move on to the next game.
He's a lifelong
King.
Duck. I just checked.
No, he played a couple games for Ottawa, or no, he started in Ottawa and got traded.
There you go, Ottawa.
He played 48 games in Ottawa. Yeah, played 48 games in Ottawa.
Did he?
You look at
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got wrong poop there.
I'm seeing Ducks all the way through, but
amazingly,
I don't know.
He's played 800 games in the league. That's All right.
Yeah,
who are we talking about?
Jakob Silverberg.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Gibson. My bad.
No,
Silverberg.
Gibson is correct. That is correct. He's later. No,
Gibson's a lifelonger. Yeah, it's Jakob Silverberg. Yeah. Anyways.
Okay, go ahead and talk about Kings Blackhawks, my man. And
who's talking?
You go. Yeah, and the Blackhawks Kings over under is 5.5. Plus 295 on the Hawks.
Yeah, I'll take the over on that game.
I like that's a low number. Yeah, both goalies.
Yeah, both goalies are not great. Chicago should be up for it, I guess, but I mean it's hard to find value with LA. So it's against Chicago. Maybe Chicago wakes up for a game or something like that. I don't know, but probably go the over.
Yeah, I mean, Jakob Silverberg has 6 goals, 10 assists this year. He is 33. Yeah. Is this the last year of his deal? I mean, the guy has 806 games played. He has 370 career points. He's a plus player. Career, not a terrible, just like a third line grindy guy, right? A little.
There's no grind. There's no grind.
6'1", 207 pounds. Yeah.
At one time, he was a good player. Don't get me wrong. It's not like he was. At one time, he was, but like the last 3-4 years, he's been.
Yeah, 24 goals in Anaheim and 28. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 20-goal seasons. That's not awful, man.
No, he was a good player at one time. He was a good two-way guy. Yeah, but he's been camping
he did
out.
Start with Ottawa.
2021 has been basically just nothing.
Yeah, Chicago, LA. I mean, their games have gone under in their last 5 games, but they didn't play Chicago in any one of those, so that's a problem here. Yeah, I mean, geez. LA's got a game, I think, right after this one against Minnesota. I think, yeah, Wednesday they're at home against the Wild too, which is going to be a pretty big game as well. So I don't know if LA go balls out in here. I don't know if I could see the over here. It might be a pretty low event game, in my opinion, because they got the Wild the next night, and they got the Lightning and the Canucks and the Oilers after that. So I'll take LA probably in regulation there. I don't know if I'm going to do a ton on props in that game, but I know that top line for Chicago, probably like a Kurashev prop, maybe something like that way, because once in a while he'll chip in. But with LA, you'll take a Fiala goal probably more often than not. Maybe a Doughty assist or something. But yeah, it's a little bit of a trap game there. You could have Mrazek and Talbot. Not the best goaltending matchup, but yeah, I don't see a ton of goals in this game for some reason, just because LA's got Minnesota the next game. So if I get it at a 6.5, I'll probably take the under. But I know it's sitting at a 5.5.
Yeah,
LA is a huge
5.5 for Blackhawks.
Yeah,
5.5. Okay, occupancy. Go ahead and give us your thoughts on Blackhawks Kings, and we'll move on to a game that we all give a shit about.
I'll keep it quick here. These teams just played Friday night. I know I had a lot of people I respect on Chicago team total over 2.5, Chicago plus 2.5. All those bets lost. LA Kings came out 5-0 and just, I think it was 4-0 after the first, something crazy. So for me, this is going to be LA needs the points. We'll take them any way we can. Not going to have a Chicago ticket on this one.
Yeah, don't blame you. Okay. Why don't you go ahead and give us your thoughts on Sabres Canucks, which is now a super important game for both teams if the Canucks want to hang on to one. And the Sabres are not dead. They're winning 5-2 tonight against the Kraken. So they're back in the mix here. What do you got, occupancy? And the Sabres are plus 160 road dog, by the way.
Yeah, maybe I could do a phone a friend. If is Luukkonen in tonight?
Yes.
He played tonight, yeah. But they might ride with. It's supposed to be Devin Levi.
So Levi, I wouldn't mind. Actually, I thought it was going to be Comrie.
No, it looks like Devin Levi.
I don't mind Levi.
I don't think Comrie's going to get a start for them again. I don't think.
Nah, I mean, yeah, I was gonna say it'd be go to the other side if Comrie's in, but yeah, Vancouver, I like this team overall. They hit a little bit of a rut. I think, Capitals obviously came into the barn on Saturday night and took 2 points.
Tight game though, 2-1, not like, and remember Demko's out, Casey DeSmith. Their
spot's kind of secure, right? They're not really. Battling for a playoff.
Well, they're not going to lose out on the playoffs, but they could lose out on the 1 seed. Edmonton isn't that far off from them now, so they could lose that number 1 seed.
Came out pretty hot tonight. If you watch that beginning of this game, we were on stream. I had the iPad up, but I don't know. I don't know if I would lay that type of money with Vancouver. I think I'd be. I'd be on Buffalo, but I don't love it, Yeah,
okay. Yeah, plus 160 on the Sabres. I'm taking it all day long, just the way they've been playing. And Vancouver's in a little bit of a skid here. Rico, go ahead and give us your thoughts, and then we'll toss it to Pearlo. And
yeah, I mean, usually I wouldn't like a back-to-back with Buffalo still on the ice right now, and then going into Vancouver that's sitting at home. But then Buffalo's not an old team. They're a bunch of young guys. They could handle it a little bit too. Like these. It's not like you got a veteran team coming in there, and like you said, Vancouver's fighting for some, but I mean, at that price, Vancouver's got Buffalo, then they got Calgary, then they got Montreal and Calgary, then LA. Like they're on a pretty long home stand here. After that loss to the Caps is the only thing that worries me. The talk will probably have these guys going.
But did you watch the game though? Like the Caps played a great defensive game.
Yeah, I know. And I think that the guys will rally around Devin Levi getting called up for this start too, because I thought he was going to start tonight in Seattle, And I was on Buffalo either way. I put my bet in when I thought Levi was starting, and
Maybe he did play.
didn't take it back.
Maybe he did play. Hold on.
No, he didn't. No, it was limited.
No, I think
it
Pekka
was
been started,
UPL. Okay, well, the UPL's been playing really good for them too, man.
But I think Levi had over 40 saves in his last start in the AHL as well too. Like the guy's been playing so well, so they're calling him up, and I think the guys will probably rally around him. It'll be a back and forth game. I'd probably see some scoring in this one with DeSmith in net as well. So I mean, I don't think I'll take Vancouver in any form as far as regulation or just to win outright. I'll take Buffalo in some way, maybe a small play on just Buffalo to win outright, maybe a small draw play there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to lean Vancouver here because of the price. I think Buffalo's they've got so much to play for right now, and rallying around Devin Levi tomorrow.
Yeah, and the thing about them too is they were a seller. They got rid of some guys, and nothing against Okposo, but you wonder sometimes with the players if the message in the locker room had gotten a little stale too. They give Okposo a chance to be on a Stanley Cup contending team in the Florida Panthers. I mean, they're going to use him as a fourth liner sparingly. I'd be surprised if he gets in the lineup at all for them, just how deep they are. But I agree with that sentiment. Go ahead, Pearlo. Why don't you finish up Sabres Canucks, and then we'll move. You can start right into Lightning and Golden Knights after you.
This is a 6.5, right?
No, I have. Yeah, no, I do. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yep, over under 6.5 for the Sabres at Canucks, and again, Sabres are plus 160 road dogs. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I just minus 195 for Vancouver. The way they're playing right now is, it's Buffalo plus 1.5. Maybe what are you getting for that? Minus 145. Yeah, I'd put like a little bit on Sabres plus 1.5 and a little bit on the money line. Something like that. That's what I think I would do here. I think Buffalo will at least keep it close. Like they are playing for their playoff lives, and they're playing really well. They're playing really
outside of the
well.
Red Wings, I think it was like the third time they had played in a month or whatever. But outside of that Red Wings game, they got work. But the Red Wings were on a 7-game losing streak. They had to win at some point.
Right.
But yeah. No, I mean that was the only game I think they haven't played a great game in. Yeah, I totally got
I haven't had a time to look at it, but I mean, I wonder what the team total over. If you can get a 2.5 for a decent price, but I would take Buffalo team total over 2.5 as well, and that'd probably be about minus 130. I hope if you can get it at that price, I think Buffalo could pot 3 here against DeSmith. Vancouver hasn't been playing really all that shit hot defensively, so yeah, something like that. That's probably what I would do.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and start right in on the Lightning and Golden Knights. Lightning plus 120 road dogs, and the over under in that is also 6.5.
I think that I sucks because I have a future on the Lightning to miss the playoffs, and I'm gonna.
I know that's not gonna hit. That's not gonna hit.
No, it's not gonna hit
unless they have 3 catastrophic injuries like Kucherov, Point, and Vasilevsky go down. Then they could maybe miss, but that would have to happen in this game.
This is the first game of the Western road trip for them.
Yeah.
And they're going to be hungry to beat a team like Vegas. I'm not taking Vegas. I know that.
Yeah, I think the way the Lightning have been playing at plus money, it's like they're giving us a chance to take some money from the books. This is one of those games. Vegas has not played well. They didn't even look good in their win, their 3-1 win. It took them the game to ice that game. And I just think the Lightning have been playing real good. And like I said, the injection of Duclair and Dumba is just given that they're playing their guys where they're supposed to be. For the most part, outside of the Sergachev injury, which, we all knew this. Yeah, they didn't get Hannafin. They didn't have the assets to trade for him. But, they could maybe get him in the offseason, right? I don't know. They're not done being a Stanley Cup contender. I wouldn't want to play them in the first round. And this is a bad matchup for Vegas, too. Vegas is
Vegas is in danger of missing the playoffs here. That's the real thing. Like, I wonder what you could get on Vegas missing the playoffs. Because
I think they'll figure it out, but that's what I also would like here for sure. Because Vegas, the reason why is surprisingly they've had a tough time keeping pucks out of that. Especially Hill will be in net, and he hasn't looked good for a while. No. So I'll take Tampa.
I know everybody's crying LTIR all over the fucking place. And they just need to fucking get the fuck over it, you fucking crybaby bitches. But here's what I'll tell you: I'm not scared of the Vegas Golden Knights right now.
No, I'm taking the over too because Tampa's not shutting anybody down.
No, that's true. Yeah.
So I'll take the over 6.5, and I'll take Tampa Bay, something like 5-3 or something like that. That's what it feels like to me.
Okay, Rico, let's get right into it, man. Give us your thoughts, Lightning Golden Knights.
I could probably flip a coin 3 times on this game. I mean, I would think the Vegas Golden Knights would just match up their defense against the top lines and take out Point and Kucherov and stuff for Tampa. And you got Duclair there and Hagel and Cirelli and Paul and these guys have been there. And then you got Vasilevsky in the other net. And Aiden Hill doesn't have the most confidence right now either. And
I would play Logan Thompson.
Yeah, and I always think of these things like Tampa is going on a business trip, and that's what I think they're calling it right now. They took Florida 5-3 in the first game, so they're going to play out west and go to Vegas as well. Duclair's played in that rink many times as well, so I mean it's hard to bet against Tampa right now. I mean it just feels like Vegas isn't playing symmetrical right now. I know they inserted Manta and Hannafin. They got different pieces in this lineup, but they don't seem to be gelling as a team right now. And Eichel just got back from injury as well too, so now he's back in the fold. He's been out for so long, so it's hard to see Vegas putting in a full 60-minute effort right now. They need to against Tampa because they need the points, man. And I honestly, it's hard for me to pick against Vegas in this spot, but I need to because Tampa is coming off that win against Florida and Vegas, where everybody's preseason predictions to be in the Cup final. It's like we knocked one off. Let's go to Vegas and take the other one right now, and let's get the confidence going into San Jose. So yeah, I like Tampa in that spot.
Yeah, Cooper's got the boys buzzing, man. And Logan Thompson actually leads the Golden Knights in wins. I think right now, if I'm Cassidy, I'd probably stay with Thompson. He had a decent game this last game for them. If it's not a back-to-back, I probably don't go back to Aiden Hill. Give him a little bit of a mental break. And the good news with them is if they just need to make the playoffs, and then those guys will be fine, I think. Occupancy, let's finish up the night, man. Golden Knights hosting the Lightning again, over under 6.5. Lightning are plus 120. Golden Knights minus 142. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, it's my best bet for starters. And I just want to bring up something Beer was actually saying earlier in the night. You know, these people don't watch the games. If people were pricing the game for current form and what have you done for me in the last 2 weeks kind of thing, this should be a minus 110 on both sides.
Yeah, I agree.
But Vegas is
their money.
They're the recent Cup winners. They're at home. They're getting that 30 extra cents. And to me, it's Tampa Bay money line, heavy on this one. I think they're coming in. They're coming in on the business trip, like Rico's saying. They're playing better. You got shaky questions and goalie for Vegas, and this Tampa team is just something clicked a week or two ago, and they said, you know what, we're turning it on now. This is postseason run time. So this is a heavy play on Tampa money line for me, and maybe a half unit on the draw.
Yeah, and I mean Kucherov's got 7 points in 2 games. Like, okay, the guy's coming alive, and Braden Point probably one of the most underrated players in the league. Beard?
Yeah, that guy. All he does is score 50 goals every year. Nobody talks about him. He's one of the best skaters. No, my boy Logan Hacker, he's always I think his Twitter handle is at Braden Point Enthusiast or something. But yeah, I mean, the dude's a stud, man. Calgary's own Braden Point, right? And he was like a 5th round pick too. I mean, it's just like you win Stanley Cups because it got drafting guys like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. Lanny McDonald was in the building at the Calgary game tonight. He's good health. Apparently, he's walking like 7-8 miles a game after that incident he had. So it's good to see.
He's laid off the bacon and eggs for breakfast that he's had for the last 35 years. Yeah, I'm so glad to hear. By the way, I'm just joking, but like the older generation, like you can't tell them shit. No, I've been doing this for George Burns smoked cigars till he was 100. Okay. Like, all right, guy.
Yeah. You happen to be famous, so we know that.
Occupancy, did you get to give your final thoughts on Tampa, Vegas?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go right into your final thoughts and we'll call it a night, everybody. We've been going for almost 2. Appreciate everybody coming in. We had a real high number tonight, guys. I was very happy. We're getting up averaging like 25 people a show now. It's incredible. It's a testament to all your hard work and the gambling props and stuff you guys work. I just super appreciate it. I'll have one final thought at the end, but go ahead, Occupancy. And thanks again for joining us for this Occupancy Monday, sponsored by Fans for Sports Network. Thank you, my man. Go ahead.
Let's go. No, I'm stoked to be here. I really appreciate having me on, Beard, the panel, Rico, Pearlo. This is good stuff. I really like being here. This is what it's all about, finding hockey heads and talking hockey, and it's a great sport. So final words really for me are pretty quick tonight. This is my favorite time of the year. This is I mean, I like the NHL playoffs are their own thing, but the month leading up to the playoffs, that's where it's at. These this is not November, and these teams are putting up 4 or 5 goals. This is everyone's trying at this time of the year. All these teams are really trying hard. So you get to see a lot of teams' best effort, and you kind of get to see a lot of true colors. So I'm just, excited to see how this one shakes out. 2024 campaign, and we'll see what it's like next week.
Yeah, rock on, man. Go ahead, Rico.
Yeah, man, it was an awesome night hanging out with you. And yeah, seen the playoff teams jockeying for position, playing against each other. It's wicked, whether it's in the same conference or cross conference. Like, we got some good games coming up in the next couple days, but you got these players playing for jobs now as well too down the stretch, and they don't care where your team picks or anything. They're playing for their own job. The GMs and stuff like that are going to put the product on the ice, but just to see who's going to just gut it out. But if San Jose was smart, they'd probably just back off and take Celebrina, because you don't want to see him go to Chicago. So
I just don't want to hear the offseason if we went to Chicago. Yeah, let's not have Chicago win 2 in a row. They don't need them.
Yeah, send them to San Jose. San Jose needs a cup. And in going into the playoffs, I always got a soft spot for teams that have never won a cup. So, I mean, the Florida Panthers have never won a cup. Winnipeg's never won one. Vancouver's never won one. Florida. So, I mean, I always look at those teams as well. If my teams are out, you just find a good story. You find an individual player you cheer for sometimes as well too, because when they lift that cup, they talk about where they're from, where their family and stuff. So that's what I love most about the playoffs as well too.
Yeah, rock on. Pearlo, give us your final thoughts.
Yeah, I'm gonna apologize to everybody who took my Tampa Bay to miss the playoffs.
It was looking pretty good there for a while, Pearlo.
It was 550. It was hard not to take, but they do it every freaking year, and I never learn. Like, Occupancy said it perfect. They always pace themselves. Cooper is probably one of the best coaches of all time, and he seems to be able to just balance everything out so they're right there when they need to be. At the end of the year, then they do this big push like they're doing right now. And would it not even surprise me if they play Florida? Imagine if they beat Florida in the first round.
Yeah,
that would be. And the thing is you could see it freaking happening too. That's the thing.
Here's the thing. Florida just
doesn't match up well against Tampa. They have their number, and I agree with you. And maybe it's the dragon the Panthers need to slay. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like they, outside of the Boston series, they swept the Carolina. They gentlemanly swept the Leafs in 5 games. I just wonder if maybe they need that. Like, and I know the Boston series went 7, but they were playing with such house money. Boston was supposed to be the West. They were supposed to be the East Cup representative. Like, everybody thought Boston was going to be in the finals, myself included.
Best record in the history of the NHL regular season.
Which means diddly fucking squatto, right? It's like the 73 win Golden State Warriors. They lost the championship to the Cavaliers and LeBron. It's like, to me, it means nothing. It's just stupid.
Get in, man. You don't need a great goaltender. You just need great goaltending. That's what the playoffs are, man. You can ride somebody to.
Tim Thomas is a great example of that. In the, like JSG Gare, took, he didn't win a cup, but you could get goalied. Again, I love hearing experts say Nashville doesn't have a chance. They don't. I think they could beat 2 or 3 teams and make it to the conference finals, no problem. Because if you play a team it's just crazy.
Well, guys like Yossi and Hedman are playing 30 minutes a night almost. Like, God, those guys are on the ice. When it comes to the playoffs, it's all about health too. And there's a lot of guys playing a lot more than regular season minutes in the playoffs. So you got to kind of shrink the roster down, and you got to look at the matchups. And then you look at the goalie standing in front of the goalie in the other end of the net, and they look at each other before the game starts. And sometimes you get owned a little bit there. It's like, oh man, okay, I'm going up against Vasilevsky tonight, and I'm Shesterkin. Am I ready? And that's going to be an excellent matchup.
Shesterkin, by the way, has been incredible for the Rangers in this run.
Yeah,
it's no question.
But he needs a cup.
Yeah, hey Pearlo, did you finish your thoughts on your final thought there? I didn't want to.
Oh, that was pretty much it. Like, it's
okay.
Just kicking myself that I freaking did it again with Tampa Bay. Did it to me again. I've never picked them to. I haven't picked them to miss playoffs for.
I like the bet, Pearlo, and when they lost Sergachev, it was looking really good for you, man. But they just are too talented up front to miss, in my opinion. And Kucherov, I think he has 40 more points than the next guy on his. He's just having a year, man.
Yeah, and Pearlo wins lots and he loses some.
Yeah, you're going to lose every once in a while. So, hey, I know I went on vacation. I wanted to show you guys the fruits of that labor a little bit here. I got the photo here from the trip.
Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah,
that's what's
Jay,
up right there.
Yeah, there's Jay and Silent Bob with me and Mrs. Maxwell. That's what you fucking heathens in the chat will call her anyway. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys. What a great show. Look forward to tomorrow. I got my tickets to the Frozen Four. I mean, I got my plane tickets and my hotel reservation. Fingers crossed that I get in with the media pass for Fans for Sports Network. Fingers crossed, because the tickets are outrageous. Minnesota takes their it's a 20-year waiting list in the state of Minnesota for the tickets for the state championship games in hockey. Minnesota, if there's a Canadian comparable province, the state of Minnesota, that's why they call themselves the state of hockey. It's right there. Now, I give Massachusetts, New York some credit too. Their hockey is big. Massachusetts is very big, Beanpot tournament. Be hard for me not to say that Mass is on par, but Wisconsin and Michigan too have some diehard hockey people. So
hopefully you shouted out Clerks and not Jay and Silent Bob.
Jay and Silent Bob were in Clerks.
Yeah, I know. Clerks was the original though.
Right. Oh, dude. Yeah. I mean, I went to Clerks 3 when Kevin was showing at the Ace Theater in Los Angeles, and I enjoyed it.
You appreciate it. All right.
Yeah. I love Clerks. Honestly, though, what movie that he won me over with that I actually saw first because I miss Clerks
when it came out because I lived in a town with like one movie theater screen. Was Mallrats, and I love that movie.
That was good too. Yep.
Yeah, I would love for him to. I mean, and he started his own universe, and we're gonna end the show here. He had Stan Lee. He kind of did the Stan Lee cameo before anybody ever did the Stan Lee cameo, which was really cool. And Stan had a really cool part. He played himself, but it was a fictional version of himself because he obviously didn't. He was married to the same woman for like 98 years. So he didn't have a running tab with Jagger about who had more women. But anyway, I loved it. It was great. I appreciate everybody, man. We're getting some really good numbers, and we're really building the fan base, man. Before you know it, we'll be getting Rico's parents to make us some T-shirts. And we couldn't have done it without you guys.
We'll get some merch.
And I was just gonna say, this show is not complete without Occupancy and Rico and Pearlo and their hard work they do with their betting and stuff. So I really appreciate them, man. We're going to end the show on that note. I really appreciate everybody coming out, and we'll see you tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern for a 13-game NHL slate, which we gave you picks. Back and watch. We gave you picks on every game, and I know there's some winners in there, so go make some money.